Join me as I share my recent voyage filled with unexpected twists and turns as we unravel the bizarre occurrences aboard the Carnival Legend during a 7-night Bahamas cruise. Hi, welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name's Barb. As a seasoned cruiser, these first-hand accounts of the wacky, outlandish experiences left me and other passengers scratching their heads, questioning what the heck is going on. If I said this 7-night Bahamas cruise on the Carnival Legend out of Baltimore was smooth sailing, I would be lying. We had the strangest things happen to us all in 1 week, including a blackout. What a crazy cruise. Let me set the stage. So the Carnival Legend was built in 2002, and it's part of the Spirit class of ships by Carnival. It's 963 feet and can accommodate about 2,100 passengers. Everyone was excited to be on board. We're heading down to the Bahamas for some warmer weather. The weather here in Baltimore was chilly. The wind gusts were extreme, up to 60 miles an hour. Once we found our room, we wanted to check out the ship, as I had never been on the Carnival Legend. The Carnival Legend is known for its distinctive decor, which is inspired by legendary characters and mythical creatures from around the world, including King Arthur, Guinevere, Lancelot, Merlin, Medusa, and unicorns. So I was really excited to get going and explore the ship. As I started to explore, I noticed pretty quickly all the doors leading to the outside deck were posted with big signs that said, "Outside decks are closed, do not open, extremely dangerous high winds." They also had straps going across the door, so you couldn't go through them. The next thing I know, I see this guy come running down the hallway, straight out and through the doors. My immediate thought was that it was a crew member, and maybe somebody was outside on the deck that needed assistance, or they were in trouble of some kind. But then the door slammed shut and all the glass in the door shattered and blew inside the ship. If I would have kept walking, I would have been hit by all that shattered glass. Thankfully, when the guy ran out, I stopped walking, so I was back a few steps from all that debris. As soon as the glass shattered, the guy that ran outside is popping his head through the door saying, "I didn't do it, I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. I'm not paying for any of this." Across the hall was the ship's artwork that was for sale, and the art was blowing and slamming into the wall from the wind and that draft suction that was created from the window being blown out. The young lady working in the art gallery came out running, and she's trying to hold the art down so it doesn't blow off the walls. You can see here how hard it was banging into the wall. So security came pretty quickly, and the guy outside was still pleading his case. I'm thinking, but what case? The doors were clearly marked, "Do not exit." There was also a carnival strap, like I said, that went across the doors to prevent people from going outside. He just kept yelling it wasn't his fault, he wasn't going to pay for the repairs, and on and on. So security started questioning the man, and we were asked to leave the area because it wasn't safe anymore. So we circled back not long after and noticed that the Carnival crew was already working on replacing the glass. That was pretty impressive, actually. How crazy, right? I just don't understand why some people think that rules just don't apply to them. What a first day. So on the second day, we got up and we decided we were going to go down and have brunch in the main dining room. And as we finished and we left the dining room, we were walking towards the middle of the ship, and I noticed that it seemed pretty dark. So I was joking around with my friend and said, "Is Carnival too cheap to turn on the lights?" We did have lights in the dining room, so I thought they just didn't turn them on. As we kept walking, it got darker and darker. So much so that people had their cell phones out using their flashlights to see. Finally, I said something like, "I think this is more than just the lights not being turned on." And another passenger agreed, and he said, "Yeah, we're completely out of power." What? Are you kidding me? We went to the window and we could tell we were no longer moving. We're just floating in the ocean. which meant we had no engines either. Great. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of freaked me out. Not gonna lie. Especially since the weather had been so bad. Here's the message that finally came on from the captain, then followed by the cruise director.
Affecting the entire ship at the moment. Elevators and our hotel system is currently out of service. Our technicians and technical department are working hard to resolve the issue. We have to have our system restored as soon as possible. If there's anyone in the elevator, please activate the alarm and our technical team will work to assist you. Our Fleet Operation Center in Miami has been notified as per protocol. For your safety, please take extra precautions while walking around the ship. I will be back with another update as soon as more information is available. Once again, I apologize for any inconvenience and thank you for your patience and understanding.
Thank you, Captain. Good morning, everyone. This is Dustin, your cruise director, coming from the ceiling with a very important announcement just to reiterate what the captain just said. We are experiencing a power outage which is affecting the entire ship. The elevators and our hotel system is currently out of service. Our technicians are working hard to resolve the issue. We hope to have our systems restored soon. If there's anyone in the elevator, please activate the alarm and our technical team will work to assist you. Our Fleet Operations Center in Miami has been notified as per protocol. For your safety, please take extra precautions while walking around, using the handrails, watching your step. I will be back with another update as soon as more information is available. We apologize for any inconvenience and thank you for your patience and understanding this morning.
Our table mates were actually in the casino when the power outage happened, so they had to stay there and wait until the power came back on to get their money out of the slot machines. Thank God I wasn't playing, because my luck, I would have been in the middle of hitting the jackpot and the whole system would have shut down and I'd have lost it all. But the engineers were finally able to get the engines back up and running. The lights came back on and we were on our way again. I guess the outage lasted about 2 hours. Later I heard, not confirmed, but I heard that we had 12 hours of standby power and that the head office at Miami had already been notified. But I'm sure that was a standard procedure. I also heard that during our stop in Freeport, which was on day 5, we lost power again. But I was out on the island, so I didn't experience that outage. When I got back on the ship, everything was fine. If you're still hanging out with me, do me a favor. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow and it makes YouTube happy. So, now we're on night 3. Around 12 a.m., there's an announcement coming from the speakers in the hallway asking for a passenger to contact guest services immediately. 30 minutes later, the same announcement. So this happened a few times. Around 1 a.m., the speakers actually in our room came on. And this announcement was more urgent, and they said we were missing a passenger. If anybody knew or anybody had seen her, to call guest services immediately. We heard this announcement several more times throughout the night. We couldn't imagine what happened. Did she drink too much and pass out in another room? Did somebody take her unwillingly to another room? I mean, our imagination was running wild. Now, I did know that when somebody jumps or goes overboard, the announcement that you hear is Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. We didn't hear that, so we suspected that she was still on board. The next day we heard she was found and she was okay, but we never actually heard what happened. If anybody out there was on my cruise and you know what happened, comment down below because I'm very curious what happened to her. So the week continued to prove to be a combination of strange events and unfortunate incidents. We had a woman slip on a slice of pizza, and the medics had to come up, put her on the stretcher, and cart her off to the hospital on the ship. People were seasick most of the trip, including myself on day 2. I missed most of that day. I even took all my bonine. As I mentioned in a previous video, I don't know why I got so sick, but I was pretty sick on that day. Then we all decided to go play bingo. And it was the $5,000 bingo game, so you could win that much money. Why did they let a child press the button to pull the balls? So when the child pressed the button to pull the balls, 3 numbers came up at one time. So everybody is trying to get these 3 numbers, and we don't know who got the first number, second number, and what order they were supposed to be in, which caused a big delay and a big mess. Thankfully, they got it straightened out. Nobody ended up with bingo on those 3 numbers, so all was well. But can you imagine if 3 people or 4 or 5 got bingos in different orders on those numbers? I guess they would have had to split the money. I don't know. Never been in that kind of a situation. It was kind of funny because right after that, they were going to let another kid push the button, and the whole entire audience started yelling, "No, no, no." And so they didn't, but I couldn't believe they were actually going to try it again. So the other thing that happened on this cruise was an entire family was left in the Bahamas. So we knew what time we needed to be back on the ship. They didn't make it back on the ship, so they got left. Again, I don't know how they got to the next port of call or if they just flew home to Baltimore. I have no idea. But you guys know that when they tell you what time to be back on the ship, don't press your luck because they're on a schedule and they will leave you. The only time they won't leave you is if you scheduled an excursion through the cruise. So if you're on Carnival and you went on one of their excursions, they will wait if your excursion is coming in late. But if you happen to just go exploring on your own or booking your own excursion through, somebody on the shore and they're late, they're not going to wait for you. So it was a very interesting week. So my question is, were the legendary characters and the mystical creatures of the legend at play this week? No one will ever know. Will I continue to cruise? Of course. I've been cruising since 1995. I won't be stopped that easily. How about you guys? Would you cruise again after all of that happened? I mean, in 1 week. It wasn't like this happened on this cruise, this happened on this cruise. This was all in 7 days. I don't know. I met a family the very last day. They were a very young family, and this was their very first cruise. Can you imagine? I felt so bad because if that would have been my first cruise, I might not have ever cruised again. So I spoke to them and I encouraged them to try it again, that this was not the norm. What is the craziest thing that you have ever experienced on a cruise? Comment down below. I would love to hear all these stories. Typically, I have a pretty smooth trip and we don't have a lot of crazy things happening. Maybe 1 or 2 things. Usually it's somebody that needs to be airlifted because of a medical emergency. And I think maybe one time we did have a passenger go overboard and they had to search for them for a little while. But all of my years, that was it. I know there's more stuff out there because I hear from other content creators and friends that go on trips. So let me know your stories. Thanks again for watching. And if you made it all the way to the end, thumbs up and subscribe. I'll be back next week with another video and probably a tour on the legend. So if you're interested in seeing the inside of the legend, stick around, keep an eye out, and I'll be back. Have a great day.